Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a number of speakers on both sides of the chamber have spoken tonight about how they remember so vividly where they were when that historic apology was made to our nation's Indigenous Australians. And of course, I remember it very vividly too. But one of the elements that I remember most vividly is the fact that the Prime Minister went to see Nana Fijo before that apology and spoke to her about her experiences, her life, what it had meant being taken from her family at such a young age, what she had missed of her culture and her family. And the reason I raise this, Madam Speaker, is because in my experience of working with the Prime Minister on the issues of homelessness, that was so typical of his approach to speak, of course, to the people who are working in the area of homelessness, but most particularly to sit and speak and, most importantly, to listen to those Australians who are experiencing homelessness. And before the 2007 election, before we made any announcement about homelessness policy, we went together to the Mission Australia homelessness facility in Surrey Hills. And with no media present, just the then Leader of the Opposition and I, we sat there for several hours talking to those men and some women, mostly men, about their lives, how had they become homeless, what had happened in their families, what had happened in their backgrounds, and how could we change things so that not only would they have a roof over their head for the night, but that they could leave homelessness behind, they could find a permanent home. And that personal discussion and investigation that the then Leader of the Opposition brought with him into attacking and addressing the issue of homelessness was very important. But the other thing I noticed then, and I think it was typical of his time as Prime Minister, was that as well as those that deep understanding of the personal stories connected to the issues that he was addressing, he spoke to every expert, he read every piece of work, he asked every question, he investigated every issue as deeply as he possibly could. I think colleagues will remember that we started to call it Kevidence because it was the most evidence-based approach to these large questions of public policy that we'd ever had in Australia, the most intellectual approach. And I saw that again most recently when the Prime Minister went to see some amazing biomedical research facilities in Queensland, in Brisbane, facilities that he had supported the funding of. The depth of understanding that he had and the questions that he asked of those biomedical researchers, I know surprised the scientists on the day. The policy lessons that he drew from those conversations and what he saw firsthand, of course, informed the decisions that we made. And, Madam Speaker, I'll conclude by saying this. I think we have seldom had a Prime Minister of such prodigious intellect, such a wide variety of interests and such a capacity to translate those personal stories and that evidence from so many different experts into policies that have made our nation a better place. Thank you.